Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WITV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey friends, take a minute with me and just imagine. Just try to imagine how you'd feel living the unique and distinct life you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, with people you love, in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. That's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you it makes a very happy life. And so can Jeannine Tunmann. She's my guest star today, and she's here to share her unique and distinct journey to her life of significance. Hey, Jeannine, welcome to the show.
Hey, Matt, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful. So just take a minute and tell us what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world.
Well, I am a functional health practitioner, and I help health conscious women who are in transition get to the root cause of the symptoms that they are afflicted with in transition, and we all know what they are. And I help them get control back of their life, of their hormones, of their gut health, of their autoimmunity, so that they can feel like themselves again. You know, we have been, as a society, we have been led down a path to believe that as we get older, we need to get sicker. And I just was not willing to accept that in my own personal experience. And that led me to a functional health practitioner, and then led me to then go on to become a functional health practitioner so I could share my knowledge and the gift of what I have learned and help to heal myself with others.
I love it, and I agree 100% with it. And by the way, just give our audience a 60-second definition of the difference between functional medicine and what we've grown up with as more traditional medicine.
Sure, absolutely. So traditional medicine and the medical community, basically, they treat symptoms, right? And they treat the symptoms with prescription medication. Whereas a functional health practitioner does not treat anything specifically. They treat everything non-specifically. So therefore, we dig deeper. We look for the root cause between lab testing and assessments and questionnaires to make clinical correlations. And then we go on to heal and restore the health, the good health, for long-term health. Not just treating symptoms with medication.
So if my nose is running, you don't just give me medicine to dry it up, you find out what's causing the nose to run.
Exactly right. Exactly right, Matt.
Good stuff. Okay, Jeannine, let's have some fun with math.
Okay.
Let our friends across the World Wide Web get to know you through the equation of our happy formula. It's simple, but it's super powerful. Capacity plus purpose equals happy. So let's start with capacity. What are your personal practices for building capacity, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional? In other words, what do you do, Jeannine, on a regular basis to create the capacity you need to take good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have more to give to others?
Right. Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because for me, capacity is everything, right? It is part of purpose. And I look at as many ways as possible that I can take care of myself. And I do that through rituals. I do that through, number one, I make sure that I learn something every single day. I'm not happy going to bed at night unless I've learned something in that day from someone or something. I also live in positivity on a daily basis. So what does that mean? I have a positive mental attitude. I turn every negative into a positive. I live by that as a mantra. And therefore, that keeps all toxicity, people, products, toxic things out of my life. So I have this barrier of positivity around me. And in addition, I do have physical self-care rituals that I do on a daily basis: yoga, meditation, gratitude journaling, Pilates. Those all help keep me in a state of, I don't want to say bliss, but just well-being, a state of well-being, and knowing that I have control over it.
So again, just a quick response. Tell our audience the similar physiological impact that toxic thoughts and toxic food have.
Oh, toxic thoughts and toxic. Well, first of all, toxic food is going to give you toxic thoughts, right? Because the chemicals are going to cause imbalances in your body the imbalances are going to be in your brain, and therefore it's going to cause toxicity in every metabolic function in your body. So there's a direct correlation with your diet and what you're eating to all the metabolic functions that are going on in the body. Food can be either your medicine or your poison, and you have to decide which is the route that you want to take.
Yeah, very good. All right, before moving on to purpose, let's discuss my favorite capacity building concept called a Kaizen state of mind. It's a beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. A Kaizen state of mind is knowing there's always something I can do better tomorrow than I did today. It's based on mindset, not circumstance. It's optimistic. It creates a gentle and yet powerfully continuous uplifting of my life day after day after day. So Jeannine, you mentioned it a little bit already, but how does a Kaizen state of mind help you increase your personal capacity to continuously become more so you can continuously give more?
Right, absolutely. Well, Kaizen is a beautiful concept and a beautiful philosophy. And to me, it means consistency, right? So it means that on a daily basis, these rituals that I have are going to ultimately get me to long-term health, longevity, vitality, and keep me in a state of well-being as long as I possibly can be there, right? Can be on this planet. So the daily rituals start out from the minute I wake up in the morning at 5 a.m., I gratitude journal. I do a half hour of yoga. I do 20 minutes of meditation. I do dry brushing so that I can keep the communication of the vagus nerve going, right? And the lymphatic system. I also use the tongue scraper, right? That will keep me will give me mental clarity, as well as also working on the vagus nerve. I then have my smoothie every day, right? This is chock full of vitamins and minerals and protein. So that keeps me going. And it's a form of intermittent fasting. So therefore, I'm not overloading my body with heavy toxic foods. I'm using food as my energy source and to keep the vitality. I also do Epsom salt baths on a regular basis because of the magnesium that they give. I also do monthly massages. I do infrared saunas because that will sweat out any of the toxins we're exposed to on a regular basis, because we're exposed to toxins in our air, in our water, in our food. Even if we eat as healthy and we drink as healthily as we can, we're still going to be exposed to toxins, which I believe on a daily basis, we need rituals to detox from.
Yeah. Now you just scared half our audience with that huge list of things, and bring it back to Kaizen, because you didn't start off, I'm sure, your life with all those rituals. Those are small incremental things you've added over time. So talk about how, it's the small incremental steps. You don't have to boil the ocean. You have to be heading towards somewhere and then start small and add. I created the idea, not just Kaizen, but Kaizen and hold. So you bring something in and you keep it if it's good, and then you bring something new in. So talk about the incremental steps that got you to all that you're doing today.
Well, sure, absolutely. I mean, really, started out as a process of elimination, where I eliminated the toxic things in my life. And then I started one by one adding the gratitude journal. And then when I was ready, I then opened that up to adding in the yoga. And then when I was ready after that, I added the meditation. And then you just know when you're ready, right? Because you're open to receiving more. And you've gotten what you can out of what you're doing so far, and then you just keep adding on. It's like an insatiable curiosity. Okay, what's next? This is working. What's next? What can I do to be better and go further?
I like it. And one of the things I've discovered too, and you give me your thoughts on this, is if I decide to take on something new that's good for me, I don't like doing it, I stop it. I don't do anything anymore that I don't like doing just because it's good for me, because I can find something else that's also good for me. So talk about that, about wanting to get into these rituals, not having to get into them.
Sure. I mean, I look at it as, I get to do these things on a daily basis, right? So do I do them all every day? No. I also rotate them so that I'm enthusiastic about them and grateful for them when I do add them into my routine, right? So it doesn't become a burden, or it doesn't become something that I absolutely dislike doing. So it's really, these are all things that are great for me and that are going to add, and I remind myself also, even if I don't like doing something, but there are too many things that I don't like doing, because I really enjoy the whole process of self-care, and I enjoy the process of longevity.
Me too. Okay, so let's dive into the second element of the happy formula, which is purpose.
Right.
And I've observed that oftentimes big life transformations and discovery of purpose come from devastation, addictions, disease, death, disaster. Some big crisis just strips a life to its core and transformation comes out of it. However, in my second book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share a transformational process that I've used to discover my purpose using inspiration. So how about you, Jeannine? Was there a specific moment or event or a crisis or an inspiration that revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
Yes, I would have to say that would be the adoption of my daughter when she was 11 months old from China. And it was a late in life adoption. I was 48 years old at the time. And it was exactly the same time that I started going through my midlife changes. And
I add for the audience, because also you were single, correct?
Yes, I was also single at the time. Exactly. So here I had lived my life. I had acquired financial stability. And I decided that the one thing that would be missing in my life if I did not have it would be a child. And I wanted to ensure myself, because I had in many times in my life traveled over to Asia. I also wanted a girl because I was single. And I also wanted to have a child at the end of the process. So I also realized that in China, there was the one-child policy, and that there were over 1 million girls in the Social Welfare Institute, which is what they called it. And I thought to myself, because of a purposeful person that I am, I always felt that I wanted to do something larger than myself. And there was a calling for me when I put all of these puzzle pieces together, that I had everything in my life that I had always wanted except a child. And this would be the perfect larger than my life opportunity for me to give an opportunity to another life in the world. And so I went forward and adopted my daughter.
That's awesome.
And then that was great. Here I was embarking on this fantastic experience. And I went through my midlife transitions at the same time, which was wreaking havoc on my health. And to the point where I was really having a hard time taking care of an infant, because they were debilitating: hot flashes, the whole gamut, the brain fog, the mood swings, the sleepless nights, the fatigue. It was just exhausting, and the medical community could only help me so much. They couldn't help me through it all. And that is when I turned to functional medicine. And that's really, that was the game changer. That's what changed it all for me and put it all together. So yeah, my inspiration was my daughter, taking care of her. And out of necessity, really, because I wasn't able to do it to the level of performance that I wanted to. I knew I could be a great mother, but I needed my health in order to do that.
Yeah, you gotta have in order to give, right?
Right, exactly.
All right, that's beautiful. And that's why you're on the show, because I saw that beautiful write-up on Facebook and I said, I got to find out what this lady's doing. And that's a beautiful thing that you did. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Jeannine, well, let's take a quick break because I want to tell everyone about 3 things. Why I love my infrared portable sauna, how to save $100 when they buy one of their own, and how their purchase will support a great big donation to WITV7. Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love my Relax sauna. I bask in its healing far infrared rays every morning. In just 20 minutes, I sweat as much as if I'd run 4 miles. But I'm not exhausted. Instead, I feel great. And I've boosted my metabolism, burned calories, sweated away toxins, and some body fat too. What a relaxing and healthy way to start a day. A study in Finland found people who regularly use saunas live longer and have fewer fatal heart problems. So get the benefits of a sauna in your home for your family too. It's surprisingly affordable, it's portable, and it fits nearly anywhere. Go to happyliving.com and select Partners in Happy to get $100 off any purchase of $1,000 or more. And I'll donate another $100 to WITV7. And we're back. And this is the Something Significant Show. And I'm your host, Matt Gersper. And my special guest star today is Jeannine Tunmann, the founder of Wholistic Body Logix. So Jeannine, you'll love this article called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. I found it on lifescience.com, and it says the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on the planet. It provides compelling scientific data to support the notion that giving of one's time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering purpose, transcending difficulties, and finding fulfillment and meaning in life. So I updated our formula. Capacity plus purpose plus giving equals really happy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Jeannine? Have you found that giving your time and talents and treasures has been a pathway for discovering your purpose and transcending difficulties you've faced and for bringing real meaning into your life?
100%, Matt. I would have to say that, everything from adopting my daughter and giving an opportunity to a baby, a child in this planet, in this world, has just been the greatest gift and a blessing, not just for her, but also for me. There's a saying that I really believe is that you give, you get back exponentially, And so she has made my life complete, and it has opened up a pathway for me to be able to explore also my internal and intuitive health passion and be able to give that to others as well. So every time I work with my clients, I feel a sense of purpose just by giving all of the knowledge and the help that I can to them.
So, yeah, that's really interesting. And so that's the science. Science says that when you give, you actually get more. And I agree 100%. I love it. It's this wonderful feeling that comes from the 4th element of significance, as we define it, doing work that creates value for others. Mm-hmm. And I've learned that the magic of life comes not from getting more, but from giving more.
Right.
But there's more to it than that. And what I've been learning is that it's not just the giving that's magical, Jeannine. It's when you're giving from living in your purpose. Mm-hmm. That's where you find the real magic. Mm-hmm. So tell us, Jeannine, how does it make you feel when you're giving to others through the work you were put on this planet to do? And a client says, quote, my experience with Jeannine has been a fantastic one. I feel as though doing her program has enlightened me more about myself and taught me to embrace myself in any situation. I feel like I've graduated to a whole new level of understanding. And another says, Jeannine is encouraging and refreshingly non-perfectionistic. Her knowledge and ability to guide me in rebuilding my health is priceless. What a gift. And another says, Jeannine has an incredible wealth of knowledge and a positive, compassionate, and enthusiastic way of sharing it with her clients. I was inspired every step of the way. So Jeannine, tell us, how does all that make you feel?
Well, of course, it's profound joy, as well as it's the greatest fulfillment in life that you could have, right? I mean, that's all, every one of us want to be validated, right? And when you're living in your purpose, that is the purest form of validation. And it just flows, right? It's just being in a state of flow. And it's effortless, really, because, and I really chalk it up to my intuition and living intuitively, which took me a very long time to recognize, right? But once I started understanding consciousness and connecting with my intuition, and always trusting it, never questioning it, always following the guidance, the internal guidance system, everything just flows. It just is a profound difference in your purpose and living life.
Yeah, and this is what I want our audience to understand is because you got to keep searching for it until you find it. Because when you find it, it's like Jeannine says, it's effortless. Mm-hmm. And the reason it's effortless, I think, is because when you're putting in effort, you're working with earthly energy. But when you find your purpose, there's some level of magic. It's your gift. It's why you're here. And that's spiritual. Yeah. And earthly energy is finite and spiritual energy is infinite. Mm-hmm. So when you're doing what you love, you don't get tired of it. You don't run out of it. The more you do, the more you have. Right. And so just talk on that just for a minute, how it's energizing when you're doing purposeful work.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, working with my clients, it's sometimes I feel like I'm channeling, like I am just so tuned into them, and I have a job to do, but that job that I have to do is it's higher than me. It's something that comes from a higher power, a higher purpose, and it goes through me to be able to help others. And so, yeah, I mean, it is, like I said, it is completely making a difference, and it is a sense of joy and peace, inner peace, that it also brings.
I love it. And that's the magic. It's just this great big happy circle. Mm-hmm. Giving your time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose, and giving from living in your purpose brings a profound joy to your life. So giving leads to purpose, and giving from purpose leads to joy. So to more properly reflect the exponential power of the happy formula, I've got to tweak it just a bit more.
Okay.
This sounds: capacity times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you, Jeannine?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it sounds like pure bliss to me is where you are then. And it should be effortless. And that's where I think, again, society puts us in a direction. The formula that we have in society puts us in a direction that veers us all off course, right? And we have to find our way back. And once we do, it is a wonderful place to be.
Good stuff. Okay, let's wrap things up with a lightning round. I love to read a few of my favorite quotes and then have you respond telling us what it means to you. The very first thing that comes to your mind, because Jeannine, it's called a lightning round. Mm-hmm. From comedian Aries Spears: to sustain longevity, you have to evolve.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Again, that means consistency to me. That means just consistency in doing what you're doing and integrating and eliminating and then evolving.
Awesome. From Hemingway: it's good to have an end to journey toward, but it's the journey in the end that matters. I'm sorry. Reset. It's
Okay.
good to have an end to journey toward, but it is the journey that matters in the end.
Of course, because once you reach the end, you need to create a new goal in order to create a new journey, right? So the journey is what it's all about, is the journey that you're on and how you're evolving as that journey that you're on.
Very good. This one's a little long, but I just love it. So here we go.
Okay.
I wouldn't coax the plant if I were you. Such watchful nurturing may do it harm. Let the soil rest from so much digging and wait until it's dry before you water it. The leaf is inclined to find its own direction. Give it a chance to seek the sunlight for itself. Much growth is stunted by too careful prodding, too eager tenderness. The things we love, we have to learn to leave alone.
Mhm. Okay, so what that means to me is very much as when I work with my clients, I am giving them tools, but I need to leave them alone to integrate those tools into their life. Because if I'm just a sage on the stage, they're never going to learn anything, right? I'm more of a guide on the side, and I let them grow and evolve with everything that I give them, the actionable tools.
Sage on the stage and guide on the side. I like it.
Thank you.
Okay, this one's from Adyashanti.
Okay.
A total acceptance of yourself brings about a total transcendence of yourself.
Well, that's wonderful. You know, a lot of people do not accept themselves what they are. And also, when we are in a state of non-acceptance, it's also due to worthiness. Sometimes we don't feel worthy, right? So we can't accept ourselves. We have gifts that we were put on the planet for. We just have to keep looking for what those gifts are, because they're there. They may be hard to find, but we all have them.
Yeah, self-acceptance it's a real crime, because many people, probably most people, would be kinder to a stranger than they are often to themselves in terms of shortcomings or worthiness.
Mhm.
And when I read that quote for the first time, I said, that's crazy. Why don't we just accept ourselves?
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, this one's the show anchor. It's from Goth.
Okay.
It's really pronounced Guter, as I've been trying to get these things right, but nobody will understand if I say Guter. So
I understand.
from Goth, okay. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Right. Well, that basically to me means don't hold back. You know, you find your superpower within you and just go for it. You know, get out there and share it with the world, because that's what you're meant to do. If you hold back, you're really not only doing a disservice to yourself, but you're doing a disservice to all of the people in the world that you could be helping.
100% guide on the side. And folks, just keep looking until you find it, because it's really worth it. And all of us have the thing, and you'll know it when it feels good. And when you discover it, hang on to it. Don't let anybody talk you out of it.
Right.
Okay, folks, now it's your turn to play along. If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Jeannine Tunmann, please share some love with our amazing broadcast team by giving what you can to WITV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Jeannine, I love that you trusted your instincts to adopt your daughter as a single mother against, you didn't talk about this, but I read about this, against a litany of family and friends trying to dissuade you, saying you couldn't raise a child on your own, and flat out telling you it was a bad idea.
Mhm.
And I admire how you've used what you call the most demanding, heroic, fulfilling, and gratifying experience of your life to tap into the same grit and determination in everything you do since then, and how you're using your coaching platform to teach others that they can achieve great things too, that they can achieve great things when they believe in their gut instinct, in their destiny, in their reason for being on this planet. And I'm super happy that you've shared your tenacious voice for living well on our show today.
Thank you.
Will you please take a minute or two and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
Absolutely. I just want to say that it is a gift, everything that I do, and the fact that I am able to share it with as many people as I do. In my work, I take my clients on a journey to give them a higher sense of their self with hope and possibility of long-term health and vitality. So it is my mission on the planet to help as many women as I can to achieve this. And I am truly grateful. Thank you so much for having me here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jeannine. And I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars like Jeannine and reaching folks just like you, ready to create your own extraordinary lives. A special thank you to our sponsors for the entire month, Relax Sauna and Happy Living. Remember, I'll donate $100 for every order placed during the month of May. So buy one sauna for yourself and give another as an unexpected gift of health to a loved one. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Jeannine Tunmann. Find her, friend her, get her weekly newsletter, or her ultimate guide to great tasting and healthy smoothies, or schedule a free discovery call about her workshops and webinars, or her coaching and cooking programs. She's available for you at holisticbodylogix.com. That's holistic, WHOLISTIC, body, BODY, Logix, LOGIX.com. It's all one word, holisticbodylogix.com. And from me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So I want you to go to happyliving.com right now and take our happy quiz. Because when you measure your happy, you'll focus attention on it. And focusing attention on it inspires change and learning and improvement to flow right into your life. And once you take the quiz, and it only takes a minute, then I hope you'll give some thought about what we can do together, you and me. Yes, give some thought to what we can do together this year to improve the happy of your world, one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show.
Thank you.
And we're out.